All right, everyone get ready because today we are diving headfirst into a wild one.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about Jack Scalfani,
Oh, boy.
the YouTube chef
Right.
who's kind of made a name for himself, you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's definitely got a reputation.
Yeah, and we're diving into all that today with this Kiwi Farms thread.
This is big. Even for Kiwi Farms, this is a massive, massive thread.
I mean, there's a whole online community dedicated to this guy. It's kind of amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's remarkable what he's doing, the sheer volume of content and the fact that it's all like this is fascinating to people.
I know, it's incredible. He's just putting it all out there, seemingly so confident that he's like, creating these culinary masterpieces.
Right, like Emerald or something.
And it's hilarious because it's like the opposite of that. Have you seen this guy's food?
Oh, I have. And it's, well, he's confident, let's put it that way.
I mean, he calls his BBQ sauce the best you'll ever taste, but then in this thread, it says he won't even eat it.
Yeah, that's the irony, right? He's created this whole persona around being this everyman chef cooking for the average Joe, but then he's got all these crazy expensive ingredients.
And gadgets.
Yeah, like smokers and grills and all kinds of stuff that, your average Joe probably can't even afford.
It's true. And he's like hoarding this stuff. He's got multiple of everything. I mean, how many smokers does one man need?
Yeah, and it's not like he's using them to, create these amazing dishes. The food itself is just, well,
It's something else, and that's what we're going to get into.
he almost reminds me of like those old-timey snake oil salesmen.
Yeah, totally. Like he's got this secret formula that only he knows, but instead of a cure-all tonic, it's like a culinary car crash.
And the best part is, he truly believes it. You can tell from his videos, he's not putting on an act. This is genuine Jack Scalfani, culinary visionary.
That's what gets me. It's like he's found some weird loophole in the space-time continuum where burnt offerings are considered gourmet.
This Kiwi Farms thread, it's like they've cracked the code to his unique cooking methods. Like they've got a whole section dedicated to analyzing his measurement system.
Oh, you mean his patented eyeball it and hope for the best technique?
Exactly. Or his aversion to using timers. It's all about feeling, intuition. Who needs a recipe when you've got vibes, right?
It's giving dangerously undercooked chicken. I can feel it in my gut. So spill the beans. What are some of his greatest hits from the Kiwi Farms Hall of Shame?
Oh, man, where do I even begin? Well, there's the classic salmonella chicken, a dish that's as terrifying as it sounds.
Salmonella chicken, please tell me that's not the actual name of the dish.
Oh, it is. And trust me, the name is the least horrifying part. Picture this. Raw chicken, thrown in a pan, no seasoning, no oil, nothing. Just pure, unadulterated poultry.
Okay, my stomach is already churning. Please tell me he at least cooks it thoroughly.
You'd think, right. But this is Jack Scalfani we're talking about. According to the thread, he bakes it at a low temperature for an ungodly amount of time. They actually have a whole debate going about the likelihood of contracting salmonella from that recipe alone.
You're kidding. People are actually analyzing the potential health hazards of this guy's cooking?
Oh, yeah, it's serious business. They even did the math on his lazy man's lasagna, which, let's be honest, looks more like a cheese-laden volcanic eruption than an actual lasagna.
Okay, I have to ask, because I'm genuinely curious now, how has this guy not poisoned himself or anyone else with his creative cooking?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Maybe he's got some kind of superhuman immune system, or maybe he's just really, really lucky. Whatever it is, it's working for him, at least in terms of not ending up in the hospital every other week.
For someone who seems to actively court food poisoning, he's managed to build quite a following online. I mean, people are actually watching his videos, commenting, subscribing. It's mind-boggling.
That's the paradox of Jack Scalfani. He's terrible, objectively, but he's also strangely compelling. He's like a train wreck you can't look away from.
It's like watching a slow-motion explosion of butter, cheese, and questionable meat products, and you're both horrified and strangely entertained at the same time.
Exactly. And that brings us to what might be his magnum opus, his piece de resistance of culinary disasters. His appearance on the show, the West Texas Investors Club.
Oh, I've heard whispers of this legendary episode. Please tell me everything. Did they make him do a blind taste test? Challenge Gordon Ramsay to a cook-off?
They went even better than that.
Yeah.
They made him compete in a barbecue cook-off against a real-deal, bona fide Texan pitmaster.
Oh, no. Talk about throwing the man to the wolves, or should I say the smokers. This couldn't have gone well. I mean, could it?
Let's just say it did not go well for Jack. His barbecue was, let's just say it wouldn't have won any awards. unless there's an award for most likely to induce heartburn.
I can only imagine the carnage. But what really gets me is how'd he react? Did he finally have that moment of self-awareness, that epiphany that maybe, just maybe, his cooking wasn't all it was cracked up to be?
Not even close. Instead of accepting constructive criticism, he completely melted down on national television.
No way. Tears, tantrums, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, it was a sight to behold. He blamed the judges, the pressure, even his deceased mother for his culinary shortcomings.
Wait, he brought his mother into it? Now that's just low, even for Jack Scalfani.
Right. It's like he pulled out the ultimate guilt trip card. And the kicker is, according to the Kiwi Farms timeline, his mother had passed away years before that episode was even filmed.
So he straight up lied on national television. It seems like this guy operates on a whole other level of delusion.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what makes him so fascinating. He's this bizarre mix of confidence, delusion, and a complete lack of self-awareness.
It's like he's living in his own reality show, where the laws of culinary physics don't apply, and every dish is a masterpiece, even if it tastes like a burnt tire.
You know, it's funny you should say that because there's a whole other layer to this saga that we haven't even touched on yet. His family.
Oh, yeah. Give me the tea, because I'm ready for more. Okay, so family drama, right. You mentioned a son, Garrett. That's his name, right?
Yeah, Garrett.
Yeah.
And looks like it's been pretty rocky between him and Jack for a while.
Rocky, how so?
Well, according to this thread on Kiwi Farms, things kind of came to a head when Jack, physically assaulted Garrett.
Whoa, hold on. What? Physically assaulted him?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Apparently, Jack found Garrett with marijuana and, choked him and then kicked him out of the house.
No way. How old was Garrett at the time?
16.
16. Oh, my God. That's awful.
And to make it even worse, Jack later tried to blame the whole thing on Tammy, his wife.
Oh, geez. So he's throwing his wife under the bus after assaulting his son.
Pretty much, yeah. Not a good look.
Not at all. Speaking of Tammy, what's the deal with this mommy wife thing I keep seeing? Where did that even come from?
It's kind of sad, actually. It seems like this whole mommy wife thing comes from Tammy basically being the one holding everything together.
You mean like behind the scenes?
Yeah, she's managing his finances, dealing with his, quirks and his outbursts, just keeping the whole ship from sinking,
Wow. I mean, you almost have to feel for her in a way, being married to that.
You do kind of wonder about their whole dynamic, right? Like how much of it is genuine and how much is just for show, for the internet.
It's all a performance at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And what about this estranged brother you mentioned? Anything more on that?
Not a ton of info out there, just a few mentions here and there suggesting that he's gay and wants nothing to do with Jack.
Oh, wow.
It really speaks volumes, though. Even his own brother wants nothing to do with him.
Yeah, that's rough. It paints a pretty bleak picture of the guy, to be honest.
Yeah, does make you wonder what goes on behind closed doors when the cameras are off,
Well, let's not forget about the whole church thing. That was a pretty wild ride. Remind me about that whole saga.
Oh, right. So Jack is like a super devout Christian, always talking about his faith online and everything.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
But get this, the church he chose to be a part of. Yeah, that's where things get interesting.
Okay, how so?
He was a member of Cornerstone Church, but everyone called it the Murder Church.
The murder church? Why?
Because, well, the pastor was convicted of murder.
Get out of here, seriously.
I'm telling you, truth is stranger than fiction, and it gets even wilder. So when that pastor had to step down, Jack didn't just find a new church, he went to Long Hollow Church.
What's so special about that church?
It's run by the son of the former Murder Church pastor.
You have got to be kidding me. It's like he's magnetically drawn to controversy.
Right. Even when trying to be a good Christian, he ends up in some wild situations.
It's almost unbelievable. And speaking of unbelievable, we can't forget about Jack's health. This is a guy who seems to actively disregard every rule in the book when it comes to his diet.
I know, right? It's a miracle he's still going, honestly. The list of health issues is pretty extensive.
Lay it on me. What are we talking about here?
We're talking multiple strokes, a possible heart attack at one point, kidney stones, surgeries on both of his Achilles tendons. He even has to sleep with a CPAP machine now.
Seriously, that's a lot, even for someone twice his age.
Right. And, through it all, he just keeps going back for more. It's almost like he has this weird superpower, a complete immunity to the consequences of his actions.
Or a complete lack of awareness. I mean, what else could it be?
You might be right about that. He's like a real-life cartoon character, bouncing back from one disaster after another, completely unscathed. It's both fascinating and terrifying at the same time.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the life and times of Jack Scalfani, the culinary enigma, the internet anomaly, the walking contradiction, what have we learned? What's the takeaway?
Well, for one, I think it's a stark reminder that the internet can be a very strange and unpredictable place.
That's for sure.
Fame can be fleeting, success can be measured in the most bizarre ways, and the line between reality and performance can become so blurred, it's almost impossible to tell where one ends and the other begins.
And sometimes the most compelling stories are the ones that defy easy categorization. The ones that make you laugh, make you cringe, make you question everything you thought you knew.
Jack Scalfani's story is a wild ride for sure, and one that I think will stay with us for a while.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for our deep dive on Jack Scalfani. What a journey. Be sure to tune in next time as we delve into another corner of the internet, uncovering the strange and fascinating stories that make up our digital world. Until then, stay curious, and remember sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction.